evening. What a day. Another day. Another day in the life. All right.
Life and times.
Life and times. I wanted to talk for a second about a concept that comes up a lot, I think, in relationships. Something you hear, especially if you're invested in having fulfilling, loving, connected relationships, which is, in order to love anyone, you gotta love yourself first, right? I mean, exactly. We've all heard it. And it's like, bleh. You know, what does that mean that I have to love myself to love somebody else? Because I mean, loving yourself is kind of like this elusive goal that's out there that maybe I'll get there, maybe I won't. But needless to say, it's a work in process for most people.
It's a nice inspirational poster.
It's a great meme. That's right. It makes a great Facebook post. But I think it's actually very logical if you look at it through the lens of universal law of attraction and sort of this idea of projection as a learning device. So what am I talking about? When they say, whoever they are, in order to love someone, you have to really love yourself. What they're saying is you can only be in relationship with yourself. That's sort of a universal law of attraction. Everyone is a mirror. Everything that you are is being projected out on those mirrors around you, the people around you. And so if you don't love yourself, you're just not really going to be that into the people you're in relationship with because they're you.
Someone that doesn't quite love you.
Well, that's another piece, right? That is the reflective. Yeah. So projection is not just a psychological construct or concept that we've been taught. It's actually a learning device we were designed with because we all know it's easier to solve other people's problems than our own. So since Source is always doing what's beneficial to us and helping us, obviously it'd be a lot easier if I could see my problems in other people because I can solve their problems and see them more clearly than I can see myself. And so the things that are playing out around me are actually there to teach me and point me in the direction of what growth area will bring me the most joy and satisfaction in life. And so yes, if you don't love yourself, you're going to be around people that aren't loving you because you don't love yourself. That's going to be reflected back at you. And you get really sick of that. And hopefully eventually say, you know what, I think I want to do something about this. I'm kind of sick of this whole hamster wheel.
I probably don't treat myself very well.
Right. But also, they're going to have qualities that you have. So if there's things about yourself that you don't like, you're going to start to, and this isn't just a loving, committed relationship. These are work relationships, community relationships. Everyone, your friends, people in your relationship are all going to house sort of pieces of you, different fragments that are always being sort of shown to you in those mirrors. And so the more you love and accept yourself, the more you'll be with people who love and accept you. And also you'll love the things you see in them because you have come to a place of healing and acceptance and openness with yourself in those areas. For example, one that a few people might have experienced, I make up, is not feeling heard. How many people are in relationships where they don't really feel seen and heard by bosses, by family, by significant others? Well, what does that mean? So on the one hand, it can mean that you might not see and hear other people, but it also means that you don't think what you're saying is worthy of really being heard or being valued. So if you really don't believe that you're saying something that should be heard or that people will want to hear or that offers value to others, you're going to notice that people aren't hearing you because you don't value what it is that you're sharing. And that can be a really painful place to be. I think both of us have experienced that.
Yes.
At times. And it is painful, especially when you have really good advice. Like you have really good advice. So not so much me, but
maybe. I don't know. I'll have to read some more comments.
But you really do. And I think there's something about really believing that you have value and you're going to see that showing up in other people. And so certainly when you begin to realize this and realize that what's being reflected, so it's really easy, let me say it this way, to feel like a victim, okay? We all think that people aren't listening. I'm not speaking because people reject me, and I'm not speaking because nobody ever wants to listen or hear me.
Or what's the point? It won't change anything.
What's the point? Yeah, it won't change anything. No one ever listens. And so I don't speak because of how other people treat me. And that is actually reversing cause and effect. That's making them the cause and you the effect. And this is sort of what makes life so frustrating because we don't realize this. We're giving all our power away saying, I'm a victim, they're doing it to me. And since I can't change their behavior directly, I'm stuck living this way. And we don't realize that we can take all of that power back and realize that we are creating that experience in life by saying it's because of what I believe about myself, about life, who I'm with, who I'm around, that's creating this experience of rejection. So when you say, okay, it's not because I don't say things of value or I'm just around a-holes that, what I say isn't valued. It's because I really don't know and believe that I have value and that I deserve to be heard and appreciated and seen for who I am the same way everyone else does.
You also need to be saying it for you, not because somebody else.
That's a big one. See, he's got great advice. So
I didn't say it for you. I said it because I needed to say it.
Well, that's the thing. So often we want to say something to elicit a certain reaction. We want people to react a certain way. And we think, if I say something and they don't react that way, I shouldn't have said it. Because we're not saying it for ourselves. We're saying things to be seen or appreciated in a certain light.
Which, again, just makes you feel less heard because you are, again, appeasing someone else, even in your speech.
And how lonely to feel like you're pretending in life all the time and putting on a show. And I think it's very much...
If you don't mean it, don't say it.
Well, that's the thing, right? But so many people, we're pretending all the time, right? And so we really just have to be real about what we want to say and not have any expectations about how it's received. Say it anyway. And that's the really painful bridge, too, between...
And scary. It is
very,
a painful, scary bridge.
Very scary to get from being completely sort of ignored in life or feeling very rejected to feeling empowered and expressed. There's like this bridge between realizing it's you and beginning to feel differently and express, and people just not taking it well. Especially if you used to be a not expressed person. The people in your life like you that way, let's be honest. Or they like the idea of you that you're presenting. They like the idea of you that you're presenting. And I've suffered a lot with that because I can make bosses or people very happy by being a certain way. And then, when you actually are who you really are, it doesn't make people, it's being a people pleaser. People love to be pleased. So if you're willing to please them all the time, it's a real bummer for them when you're not.
Except you're also people. And you're not pleasing you.
And you deserve to be pleased too. And there's something about speaking our truth that is very satisfying. But you have to be willing to let go of how it's received, to your point. And that is difficult. That is a bridge.
It's a shaky one.
It's a bridge.
And it's not well made.
Well, because...
You don't use it.
Well, of course, most people don't. Let's be honest. Most people don't. They can't make it across that bridge. They'd rather stay pretending or saying what's safe. Or just not sharing at all.
But also,
definitely
you don't know what's on the other
way.
side because you don't walk across that bridge.
As they say, everything you've ever wanted is on the other side of what you fear. And I've busted through that wall a few times and it's felt so good, and I still come up against it and I still go, no, I don't want to.
Why are there so many walls?
So hard. So I think that's really, I think that's really an interesting concept to discuss around this, because again, it's not really about sitting and learning to love yourself before you can get into a relationship. Obviously, it's going to be a work in progress. You can't be all the way there. But I can say I've greatly shifted the needle from being in relationships where I was very unseen and unheard, pretending and being more of an idea of a person, to being with someone who sees me and hears me in an incredible way and gives to me a lot. And I think there's also a thing that often people who give are in relationships with people who just take. That can be a common thing. And that's because those people don't value what they're giving or that they deserve to receive or feel safe enough to receive. And so that you give so much to me shows me I'm safe enough to receive, but he still has some work to do on receiving.
Yeah. And I have always said that people that give and give, if you give too much, you will be left hollow.
But yet you give so much and have a very hard time receiving.
And I was pretty hollow. Oh, I know.
Okay.
The phrase was
That's
apt. I'm
fair.
aware, like, well, that, yes, it will.
That's definitely
I know
fair.
what I said.
And I think, that's
you gotta save some for you.
That's definitely fair. And I find it interesting because I think it'd be very easy for you to be in a relationship with someone who does just take, but obviously you do have a certain level of value because you're with me, and I am at least doing my best to be cautious about making sure I give to you too, and that we're in that conversation. But it's also cool because I can only be in a relationship with myself, so of course I'm going to be with someone who's on that journey as well. But we get to be in a relationship where there's mutual giving and love. Hopefully you feel.
Thankfully, we were both in a pretty similar space when we met.
Only be in a relationship
So
with
it
yourself.
worked out pretty okay.
Where
we were both
when we
trying to
met?
get better, so it worked out.
Oh, we were coming up from the bottom, let me tell you. We were both shredded people, actually. We didn't date for the first few years when we met. I was definitely not willing. I was going to die alone. I think you had that thing going on too. But I had dated.
I already accepted.
But I had dated a lot, in fairness, and decided I just couldn't do love and I was going to die alone. You had never even tried.
Farther, worthless, not even
never
point.
even
No
tried to date.
No,
I was his first girlfriend,
no
everything.
Point.
Yeah,
No.
you didn't even try.
Why would I?
Well, why give up so easily? Why not at least try?
I had given up so long ago.
But why did you give up so easily without even having a good heartbreak?
Because I never met you.
Well, that's fair.
I haven't met you yet.
And I'm very blessed that I'm with a man who I'm his first love, which is one thing that I wanted. It was one of my requests. And
so it was you. You did that to me. You made me forsake everyone.
I think men really love differently the first time. Men really love differently the first time. And when you have that initial heartbreak, I think men are permanently jaded. I think they love differently from that point. And so you love me with that first love, and you haven't experienced being crushed by some heartless bitch. And I get to just take care of you. And it's not, I mean, obviously it wouldn't necessarily, things just don't work out all the time in relationships the first round, but
sometimes
I get to care for you.
Sometimes you meet the right person at the wrong time, and that's sad.
It is. But I get to care for you, and everybody has a different journey, but I don't want you to experience heartbreak and rejection the way some of us have. You.
It saves me from that.
And I'm also older, and I've been through, because I have broken hearts, and I wasn't always who I am today. Hard to imagine, I know. But
Go back and watch your 30-day thing.
Oh my God, that wasn't that bad. I'm talking like 10 years ago.
And I'm just saying, you've had a lot of development even recently.
Go
back and just watch this YouTube channel. Go back to the first video.
Just start here. It's much prettier.
Just omit those other
No, I left them there for a reason. Yeah. You're right. But you know, I've also come to a place where I'm able to love and support and give in a whole new way, and make sure that I can care for an incredible man in an amazing way. So we get to have that relationship because I have the wisdom of failing and doing things that I regret.
You knew what you wanted. Every blunder makes it more clear.
It does. So, but this is also the journey. I really didn't love myself then. And so, of course, I couldn't love other people well, too, because I didn't value their hearts, because I didn't value my own in that way. And so now I understand how precious it is, what a gift it is when somebody loves you, and how commitment is really built, and keeping your word, and making sure you're caring for someone, and you know, making sure also that they're what you want and not just settling. I mean, when you settle, you set yourself up to not be good to people because you're not happy with who you're with.
Nope. And you're also not going to make them happy because you're not with them.
You're not happy
with them.
Who wants to be with someone who's settling to be with them? That's a terrible feeling.
You're not going to support them because you're not engaged with them.
Mm-hmm.
Don't settle. It's not good for either of you.
Mm-hmm.
Or if you're like, this is good for me. Are you happy, or are you just choosing it because it's safe?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Because the thing that you love is even safer.
Mm-hmm.
A false net is not the same as someone's embrace. I
Well,
know there's a net down there. I have a hold of you.
No,
You're
actually,
safe.
no. That happened to me. I was being a fake person, and so in a fake relationship, so someone's in love with the idea of me, not really me. And so, yeah, when you go to fall in that net, it's not there.
No,
they don't really like you for who you are. They like who you were pretending to be.
They didn't know who you were.
And when things get messy, it's not so easy to pretend anymore. You're going to be who you are. So you hope they love who you really are, which this band definitely does.
Have you ever heard the phrase, if you don't love me at my worst, you don't deserve me at my best?
I know, but it's not like a Marilyn Monroe. It's kind of a bit,
I don't remember who said it, but it's pretty good.
Is it? I feel like it's kind of bitchy.
If you
don't love me at my worst, then you don't deserve me.
No one's saying you need to be at your worst all the time. Thank you. I don't need 26-hour worst. Thank you.
What's a 26-hour worst?
No, I missed it.
You meant 22 out of like 24 hours a day?
Yeah.
I mean, okay, I got
I need 20 hours of a terrible person for those solid 2 hours of greatness.
All right. And that's relationship coaching with the Putz +1. Round 1. Be well.